The Dragonflight pre-patch brought with it one of the best updates that Blizzard has made to the default UI in World of Warcraft. We're going to take a look at a few things that you can do to make your overall experience playing the game a little better by adjusting your UI. Our goal is to have the parts of the UI we need to look at all the time in fights be front and center, so our eyes don't have to move too much across the screen in order to see information that is important to you. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start setting up our UI. Let's just come over here, dismount, and we'll get going here. So what we wanna do first is go into our edit mode. We're gonna keep grid on, snap on, and let's go ahead and take the grid spacing all the way down to 20. We're gonna use the modern preset. And then let's go ahead and move this up over here so it's a little bit out of the way. So the first thing that we wanna do is we wanna move our unit frames for our player frame and for our target frame over a little bit more towards the center. As we talked about, we want everything to be in a spot where our eyes don't have to move too far to see it. So we're gonna kind of use this little extra ability section as a guide to where we want to start putting this. So first thing we're gonna do is we're going to move our player frame up and over. We have our middle of our screen highlighted with this purple line, as well as the vertical middle there on the purple line. So we're gonna go to the purple. We're gonna keep this space to where we have this empty space here next to our extra abilities, and we're gonna go up and go 3 spaces down. So 1, 2, 3, boom, right there. So obviously this might get in the way, but that should be perfectly fine. Same thing here on this side. We're gonna go ahead and move all the way over, keeping the spacing similar, and 1, 2, 3, gonna go down. You can kind of use your eyes to look there, and there we go, boom. Those are in a much better spot for visually as you're fighting and things are going on. You can see it right there. Let's also go ahead and put buffs on top. That way, as debuffs and things get really big on a boss, they're not gonna funnel down into your action bars down here. So next thing we're gonna go ahead and do is we're going to take our action bars and we're going to start setting those up. So first, let's just start with action bar 1. So with action bar 1, we're going to turn off the art bar and hide the scrolling bar. If you want to keep those, go for it. I recommend changing that a little bit though and taking that away. Let's change our icon size down to 80%. We're going to do this for every single bar. So 80% on every bar. One other thing we're going to do with each bar is we're going to turn off this always show buttons. That option doesn't show up for bar number 1, but all the other bars it does. So let's go ahead and turn that off. 80%, turn it off, and 80%. And we're going to continue on with these other 2 over here. 80%, always show, turn it off. 80%. All right. Boom, we are good to go there. So then what we're going to want to do is down here on action bar 1, this is just going to space things out in a way to where we have our main abilities on the left. In the middle are going to be like big utilities and things that are going to help us throughout fights. And then over on this other side, just additional things that we don't need to click on as much on this other. We're going to space these 3 bars out, and you'll see what I mean here. So we're going to take the number of rows and we're going to take that to 3. If we have that done, we're going to go ahead and move this over. Just get it out of the way so it stops snapping to things. Okay, and same thing here. Boom. So now that those are done, they're not snapping onto anything anymore. We're going to go ahead and move our action bar 1. We're going to need to move our pet bar and stance bar as well. So let's go ahead and just get these out of the way for now. Extra abilities out of the way. Just everything out of the way. Cast bar out of the way. Counter bar out of the way. So there we go. So we're going to want to set up our action bar number 2. I moved that way out of the way. I apologize. And I want this to be about right here. It's just 1 space above your XP bar. Then you're going to want to take your action bar 1 and you're going to want to space that out just a little bit. Not too much though. So right in here should be fine. And then right in here, leaving a little bit of space. So we're going to the outside, snapping it to that outside, snapping it there. They should be lined up and even. For some reason, if they aren't, just try to finagle it in there to where it is good to go. And then after that is done, there's one more thing we need to do. We could have started with this. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to make a new layout. Gonna just save this as a monk. Character specific. Go ahead and save it. Go ahead and close everything. As you can see, this is already looking pretty clear. You could move these up if you want, but that's completely up to you after you get that set up. So go into your interface, action bars, and let's open up. You could do 6 and 7, or 7 and 8, whatever you want. Just open up 2 additional action bars. As you see, they're right in the middle of your screen. So go back to edit mode, move your HUD, and then you want these 2 bars. Excuse me. We're gonna do 3. And these are going to be our interrupts. Just go ahead and snap that there, actually. It should be fine. And then we want this one to be 3. We want these to be 80. We want these to be 80. Turn these off. Okay, turn those off. There we go. And there we are. So that's essentially the base of our UI here. Our stance bar. Monks don't have a stance. I would just suggest throwing it down here somewhere. Cast bar, I like to have this right in the middle of the screen. Right underneath where everything's going to be happening. So right in here is probably fine. You can lower it down a little bit if you want, but try to get it in the middle. You can see here with the T lined up in the middle, it's pretty much centered. So there we go. Our encounter bar. You can put these wherever you want. I suggest putting them in a spot where they're easy to get to, though. So I'm going to put mine right underneath my player frame. If for some reason it gets in the way, we can edit that later on. Pet bar. We're going to take our pet bar and we're going to do the same thing where we're going to make it 80%, 3 rows. We're going to attach this down over on this side. All right. So then we have our extra abilities. I'm just going to put this right up here in the middle. And then we have our talking head. So this is when like a dialogue box pops up in the middle of the screen when something's happening dialogue wise. You know, Jane is talking to you, Thrall's talking to you, all that stuff. Try to get it centered. Right about the G is going to be about in the middle. So that should do that right there for us. Check your vehicle exit bar. Definitely don't want to be on a vehicle and not be able to exit the vehicle because it's in the way. So I moved that up to the left of my player frame. Arena frames look good over there. Loot window. This is one that kind of, I don't know why it's over your party. I would suggest putting this above the, I like putting it above my, my target frame. Okay, we can turn that off. All right, and then we can put this right there. All right, everything looks like we're good to go. Player frames, party frames are good. Raid frames are good over there. Stance bar's fine. We're just going to turn it off. Buff frame, I'm not going to move the buff frame. I'm not going to move the debuff frame, boss frame, or the tooltip frame. You could move all those if you want, but I feel like this is the perfect starting point to get your UI going. And then you can move your abilities to where you want to move them and re-hotkey everything the way you want to hotkey it. I like my mounts to be down over here. This is another bug that's going on with the UI right now, but if you move abilities to bars that aren't your main action bar, your number 1 action bar, they disappear. They're still there, and I've found that if you just move a bar on your number 1 bar, like your bar 1, and move it back, it typically fixes that for you. But after you've got that set up, you can go ahead and re-keybind things the way you want to keybind them, make things in, put things in order the way that makes sense for you. Also, real quick, let's move our chat window out of the way. It's a little bit big for one and kind of in the way, so I like to just put it around here somewhere. You don't have to get too specific with the sizing, and that is it. That's going to wrap up our quick little video about going through the new UI. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please make sure to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button for me. If you have not already subscribed, make sure you do so you can come back for more content in the future. I'm going to do a little bit more of a deep dive on the UI with my warrior and how I set things up and why I set them up that way. So make sure you check that video out. It should be coming soon. Thank you guys so much. I will catch you next time.